and sim fans, Racing 393. Just finishing off partly fitting the body shell to my Eclipse 4, my 112 Pro LMP kit. As you can see there, I haven't sort of cut the posts down yet, but the body's pretty much where it needs to be. I've done previously what I did, I purchased some more titanium parts. As you saw by the pictures, it was the kingpin and front axles, if you like. They were tie. I did actually weigh them up, as in the scales I use don't actually measure in those small quantities. It just goes to 1 or 2 grams, but the difference between the two is actually quite great. The tie parts as a whole were good on 2 grams lighter than what the kingpin and the axle was on the standard kit. That's quite a lot on such a small part. So weight saving is absolutely critical. I'm pretty sure that if you race these in the sort of the UK British BRCD, no, what's it called? BRCA? British Radio Controlled Association. There's obviously weight limits and things. They're quite strict actually from what I've seen. So don't quote me on that. So I've cut the rear wheel arches out on this car. The front where the wheels go are kind of, they've got like indentations on the body. It's kind of in the where the front wheel should be. I did my best measurements that I could based on what I've got. According to where the front indentations are, is slightly out, but once I cut the new wheel arches in the front ones, you won't notice it. You can see by the back ones there, which I'll just move the camera around a little bit. You can see there what I've done. I've got them fairly close. I thought quite impressed with how I've done that actually, and I use this tool here. It's got like a pointy bit there, as you can see, and then this bit here cuts, sort of scores the Lexan. You just adjust this to where you want it, and then it's very lightly pivot round, quite repetitive, until it sort of scores through. Quite good. I did have to trim the last little bit with the scissors, standard Lexan scissors, nothing much with that. And I did some measurements with my vernier as well, so just to sort of check it was as close as I could get it. So the body's sort of kind of sitting where it needs to be. It is ever so slightly higher at it's lower at the back, higher at the front. So I can put the ride height down a little bit, I think. In my opinion, it's a little bit too high. Doesn't have much suspension movement. Just hold the car down. It's difficult because the problem is I haven't got a front servo in it, so it doesn't hold the wheels where it needs to be. So I've got to put a servo in it before I do the fronts. Backs are pretty much where they need to be. As you can see here, a little bit of suspension movement. If I just turn the car around ever so slightly and then move that around a little bit. So this bit here is quite a bit of a renowned part that gets tucked or caught under the car. So what I think I might do, you can put a small bit of welding wire, a little thin bit, or even anything like solder, as in the wire itself. You can sort of stick it up inside and it kind of acts as a bit of a strengthener. But you've got to keep it very, very light. I mean, that is very, very thin Lexan there anyway. So, but you can see there, the actual stance doesn't look too bad. And as we go around the other side, there's not a lot of front movement in that springs. The back's okay, so this, you can see there the back looks okay. I could do with the front a little bit lower, which I'm not going to do. I'm not going to cut these today because I don't know quite where I'm going to sit. I might even have to adjust the ride height a little bit. I don't think it's going to affect where the wheels sit. I just need to sit straight. There's nothing holding them in position at the moment. So that's that. That's the next stages. I mean, I know I said I have to change that actually. I said part 1 was the car build, part 2 was running it. Well, that ain't going to happen. So I'm not even sure where I'm going to run this. It's not going to be outside. I can assure you. Anyway, it's sitting too low for one. And like all my cars, I will end up doing a running video, but it probably won't be part 2, if I'm honest. So that's it. That's the sort of the update. The next stage is the front servo and cutting the front wheel arches and probably doing a little bit of fettling with the front ride height. It's very difficult. They say it's a great hobby to get into, as in racing. But the BRCA, who run part of the, well, one of the sort of organisations that run rally controlled events, they don't make it easy to look for things. You know, if you want to find out the technical information, or perhaps what equipment you're allowed to use, it's not easy. You have to hunt round, and I've never used Google, because you end up with forums that are about 15 years old, reading up on stuff that probably doesn't matter anymore. So yeah, they could perhaps do with making things like that a little bit more accessible for someone that comes in and just wants straight answers. What can I use? How much can I spend? What's the rules? Done. Because I did read and see something online where they do measure the ride height on these cars. You can see that the front there is a little bit high. I can't get it any lower than that, and the back's as low as, well, it can go one more down, but it's too low on the body pins. So I don't know. It's just one of those. I mean, it pretty much matters. I don't know if I'm going to get around to ever racing it, but I'd like to think I would. I'd like to actually build the car to that stage and then have that decision. But anyway, that's as far as I got. Just to recap, servo and front wheel arches are the next job. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.